So, a stunning development in American politics today, a second assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump taking place today at the Trump International Golf Club on Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort, which is in the state of Florida. This was an attempted shooting by a gentleman who has been identified as 58-year-old Ryan Routh. This assassination attempt, we're going to detail for you what the details are, how exactly this played out, as well as what we know about the suspect in the shooting and what the political ramifications are going to be. Right off the bat, it's important to note that former President Donald Trump is completely unharmed. He was in no way injured during this attempted assassination attempt. So let's just walk you through what happened. Donald Trump was out on Sunday. He was golfing at the Trump International Golf Club, which is at the Mar-a-Lago resort, which he frequently uses. It's again, as I mentioned, in the state of Florida. He was out golfing, and he was accompanied, of course, by his Secret Service security personnel. At one point in time, the Secret Service personnel who was scanning the golf course for potential threats against the former president came across what looked like the barrel of a gun sticking out from a couple of bushes. This was, in fact, the suspect, Ryan Routh, who was crouching in the bushes and ready to take a shot at former President Donald Trump when he turned up at the golf course. The Secret Service immediately engaged the suspect, immediately opened fire as well, shot 4 or 5 warning shots at the suspect, who managed to then flee, got into a car, and was eventually apprehended near a highway. But he was found with, he left behind certain weapons on the scene of the crime, for example, an AK-47 style rifle, a GoPro camera, as well as some other equipment. So this happened. Former President Donald Trump was fairly far away from what was happening. He was about, some estimates are saying, around 300 to 500 meters away. Remember that he was playing golf, and the Secret Service was scouting ahead on the course for potential threats, which is when they ran into Mr. Routh, who is the alleged suspect at this point in time. So just making clear again, there is no harm that has been done to former President Donald Trump. He's reportedly in very, very high spirits. He's also put out a statement to his campaign donors as well as to fundraisers, saying that he is completely unharmed, and he refuses to be dragged down by something like this. So that's what we know. Those are the exact details of what we know the assassination attempt was. Someone was crouching in the bushes at the Trump International Golf Club, ready to take a shot at former President Donald Trump, who was some distance away. The Secret Service engaged this shooter, and then the shooter was later apprehended near a highway when he tried to get away in a car. So who is the suspect? This is a gentleman named Ryan Routh. That is what US media reports are telling us at this point in time. And Mr. Routh is someone who is 58 years old, is a self-employed builder from the state of Hawaii. What has the most prominent thing that has come out about him is the fact that he is a very, very prominent supporter of Ukraine and a supporter of Ukraine in the cause of its war against Russia, which has been going on since 2022. He, in fact, across his social media has routinely tried to recruit soldiers to go fight for Ukraine in the war against Russia. He was, in fact, even on some social media posts trying to get Afghans to go and fight for Ukraine. So this is absolutely something that he seems to be associated with, a pro-Ukraine cause. He's pro-Ukraine, anti-Russia, anti-China as well, things that we have seen increasingly on his social media. He was also very an anti-Trump individual. There are several posts that have been picked up from his social media. If I could read some from you, he's sort of talked about keeping America democratic and free, whereas Trump wants to make Americans slave again. Democracy is on the ballot and we cannot lose. This is, I'm just paraphrasing from one of his social media posts. So someone who was anti-Russia, pro-Ukraine, anti-China, and also anti-Donald Trump, supporting Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. So that's what we know at this point in time about the suspect. He was apprehended. We also know that he has a long criminal record for things like resisting arrest, having stolen property, several vehicle-related offenses. This person has Mr. Routh has a criminal conviction, several criminal convictions. So it's a criminal record that's a mile long. So this is an issue and has come up in just the hours after the shooting. As we get more information about the suspect, what their motivations are, we will absolutely share that information with you. So this is right now we've talked about what exactly happened, who the suspect is. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about what the reactions have been. President Joe Biden has been briefed about this incident and has stated very clearly that he's thankful that former President Donald Trump is safe. Kamala Harris, who is of course Trump's rival and opponent, they had a spirited debate very recently in their first presidential debate, and she has also said that she condemns political violence and is relieved that Donald Trump is safe. Donald Trump, of course, himself coming out and thanking the Secret Service for its protection in this matter. You've had a number of people come out, including the Homeland Security Secretary Alexander Mayorkas, the Secretary of the Interior Alexander Mayorkas, come out and say that he is grateful for Donald Trump and being safe. So you have lots of reactions coming in, all of them condemning political violence, but also several people talking about how something like this could have happened a second time. Remember that we are speaking with a little bit of context. In July, just a couple of months ago, there was another assassination attempt against Donald Trump at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. He narrowly escaped with his life there. A bullet grazed his ear. At that point in time, the shooter, Thomas Matthew Crooks, was shot dead by snipers that were present there. But absolutely, this is something that has become a serious concern, the idea of political violence in a US election cycle. Even Democratic representatives, including one from Florida, Jared Moskowitz, talking about how something like this could have happened a second time. Although Donald Trump himself praised the Secret Service for keeping him safe, the big question is how could a shooter have managed to get onto the Trump International Golf Club, where the president was staying at the Mar-a-Lago resort, which is attached to the golf club, how this could have possibly happened. A second security failure, it seems, by the United States Secret Service. So that's absolutely some questions that will be asked. What we know is that the acting director of the Secret Service, Ronald Rowe, is expected to fly to Florida to carry forward the investigation. The Federal Bureau of Investigation is also looking at the incident. They're doing a full investigation, and it's supposed to be a global investigation, which is going to call upon some global platforms to assist them in profiling Mr. Routh, who is a suspected shooter, and his modus operandi, who exactly he may be connected with. But right now, at this point in time, what we're getting from American media reports is that there don't seem to be any other co-conspirators. This seems to be the act of a lone shooter. So that is a situation that we have right now, both from, we've explained what exactly has happened, Donald Trump, of course, being absolutely safe. We've talked about what the investigation is going to look at, what the reactions have been across the political spectrum, but absolutely something that everyone is picking up on is that 2 assassination attempts against 1 presidential candidate in a single election cycle is something that is absolutely unprecedented in modern American history, something that would have been unthinkable even 10, 15 years ago, but something that has become a reality in American politics now that American politicians are going to have to deal with. There was a report that actually stood out to me personally when I was reporting on this story, which was a former Secret Service agent talking about how difficult it is to ensure that a golf course, which President Trump is an avid golfer, how difficult it is for the Secret Service to protect Donald Trump when he's on the golf course, lots of open spaces. And a former Secret Service agent actually said that if the Secret Service had not spotted the barrel of that rifle sticking out from the bushes, President Donald Trump would have, of course, walked closer and closer to where the shooter was. And at one point, he may have even had a shot that was just a couple of dozens of meters away from Donald Trump, an absolutely clean shot, and it could have been a successful assassination. Luckily, that turned out not to be the case, but there are serious questions that are going to be asked about the Secret Service, how it does its job, and also serious questions are going to be asked about political rhetoric. Several people on Twitter and so on coming out and saying what was said even after the Butler shooting in July against Donald Trump, which is that the divisive rhetoric of American politics has caused this attack. Several people blamed the Democratic Party for its attacks to Donald Trump. But I may also point out that another big story that that is big in the American media today is that you may recall, or I don't know if you've seen any memes about it, that after the presidential debate, when Donald Trump asserted that Haitian immigrants in cities like Springfield, Ohio, were eating pets, there have been shooting threats and death threats that have been coming up against the city of Springfield, Ohio. They've had to shut down a local college, and there is a palpable sense of fear on the streets of that city. So divisive political rhetoric absolutely cuts both ways, and it has been a feature of this political campaign and of modern election American politics, and that is something that we will have to keep tracking. But we will keep you updated with all the latest coverage on India Today Global. We have got wall-to-wall coverage of what is going on. Later in the day, I expect we'll have Rohit Sharma, our White House correspondent, to sit down with us, talk to us a little bit about what is happening in America right now. Thank you so much for joining us on this quick live where we explain to you what exactly has happened with the second Trump assassination attempt. Thank you so much again for watching India Today Global.